All right. David S., can you read this one for me?
The alert box. JavaScript offers 3 types of pop-up boxes: the alert, prompt, and confirm boxes. Alert box. The alert box is used when you want to ensure that information gets through to the user. When an alert box pops up, the user must click OK to proceed. The alert function takes a single parameter, which is the text display in the pop-up box. The display line breaks within a pop-up box uses a backslash followed by the character N.
I'm getting this the new line symbol.
Be careful when using alert boxes, as the user can continue using the page only after clicking OK.
All right. Oh, wait. So take a second to answer the next question. Okay. So how many parameters can be accepted into by the alert function? 1. Brian A., can you read this one?
Prompt box. A prompt box is often used to have the user input a value before entering a page. When a prompt box pops up, the user will have to click either OK or cancel to proceed after entering the input value. If the user clicks OK, the box returns to the input value. If the user clicks cancel, the box returns to null. The prompt method takes 2 parameters. Parameters. The first is the label which you want to display in the text box. The second is a default string to display the text box, optional. When a prompt box pops up, the user will have to click either OK or cancel to proceed after entering an input value. Do not overuse this method because it prevents the user from accessing other parts of the page until the box is closed.
So generally, you're not going to want to do a prompt box. You're going to want to use a form in most cases, just a standard HTML form. But I mean, there are times where you could end up using this. I don't think I've ever needed to use alert boxes a lot. And not prompt, but the next one we're going to learn about, I forget the name, but oh, oops, well, there's the answer. Prompt, and then name. Yeah, confirm box. I use that more than, well, I use that, but not really the prompt box. But anyway, go on. Sandra, can you read that?
Confirm box. The confirm box is often used to have the user verify or accept something. When a confirm box pops up, the user must click either OK or cancel to proceed. If the user clicks OK, the box returns true. If the user clicks cancel, the box returns false. Here's an example and the result.
Okay.
Do not overuse this method because it also prevents the user from accessing other parts of the page until the box is closed.
Okay, so we'll do this one. So you run it. If we hit cancel, it says thanks for staying with us. We hit OK. Thanks for visiting. Any questions on that one? Okay. basically it gives you a Boolean value right here of either true or false of whether they entered cancel or okay. And then you can take that and do an if statement if you want.
Brandon, I have a question about where
Uh-huh.
to place these like variables and if statements.
Well, it's when you need it. Like, I mean, it goes in the script tag because everything in JavaScript goes in a script tag, but it's really just uh, like you have to look at what you're trying to accomplish and then take your tools and figure out when you would want to use the different tools. So like for this one, for example, like we did a confirm box for the Purple Heart, the military or the Purple Heart. I'll show you an example of a time, you know, that you'd use it. So, oh, actually, we took that down. Well, it used to pop up saying the thing about, do you want to donate to the legacy program? And if you clicked cancel, then it would leave you here. If you clicked OK, it would take you to this page. So that's just like one example of you know, when you would use a confirm box. Does that kind of answer your question or not really?
I guess what I'm saying is like how do you place it on the page, the confirm box? Because it's not automatically going to pop up, is it? Or you have to position it somewhere, or does it have to?
No, it's like here, watch. We'll just copy this JavaScript right here. And as soon as you put it, it's gonna pop up. But generally you wouldn't just put it on the page. You would put it like if a user clicks a button or something, right? Then you would have it pop up. But I mean, you could have it pop up as soon as they land on the page. Like that's what we did for the MOPH page. So still running. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for visiting. So like just by putting it in the script tag, it just automatically appears when the page first loads if you just put it that way. But generally you would use an on click function, like you would do a button and then like when you do on click, so like when they're like trying to submit a form to the next page. Oh, here, well actually we can just do it. I'll show you right here. Hold on. Because we already have a form on this page. So let's make a function. Is this a dot format? No. Okay. So like generally, like I said, you wouldn't have it when they first load the page, but like now, when they, click it before they're going to the next page or whatever, you'd have it pop up with a, whatever you're trying to alert or whatnot. Does that answer your question a little better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was having trouble because I didn't know where to place it because once, I mean, how's it gonna work? How's
Yeah,
how's that functionality gonna work if it's just on whatever part of the script it's in?
right.
Uh,
And like you can set it up so like if they like try and X to close the browser or whatever, it'll pop up with are you sure you want to leave? You haven't saved or something like that. Like, I mean, that could be one time that you could use it, or just I don't know. It's really just you got to figure out like you just need to know you can use it, and then when you think of a time like, oh, this would be useful, then you use it. You know what I mean? So, all right. So moving on. So take a second to answer the next question. All right. In the confirm dialog box, OK returns true, cancel returns false. Okay. So oh, oops. Well, okay. The first one's 5. But let me run you through and show you why. So we created our function test, and then we called our function test and passed the parameter 2 in. So while 2 is less than 5, increase the number. So now 2 becomes 3. And it's and then 4 and then 5. All right. So, oh, damn it. I keep doing that. Okay. Next time I'll tell y'all to take a second. Okay. But this one, what's the output of the following expression? Nothing, because it doesn't, we don't have a return statement in here. So it's not going to return something. So it doesn't matter that C is A times B, because we never got that out of there or did like print, like, document.write what print, or not print, document.write and printed it, or console log. So there's no output. Okay, take a second to answer the next question. Okay. So fill in the corresponding names for the built-in dialog boxes. Prompt is great for getting input from the user. Alert is for displaying a message in a box. Okay. Oh. Okay, well, this one, we're creating a function, and if A is greater than B, return A, else return B. So there you go. All right, this time, take a second to answer the next question. Okay, what is the correct syntax for referring to an external script called script.js? do script and then our source equals script.js. But generally we'd have it in a static folder. So it'd be static / script.js, maybe even static / script / script.js, because a lot of times you'll have a whole folder for your different JavaScript files because you'll have multiple. But anyway, take a second to answer the next question. And let me know when we get to there's not any more questions, so I don't wait. Okay. So what alert will display on the screen? So create our function test AB, and we pass for A 5 and for B 15. If A is greater than AB, well, A is greater than B, well, 5 is not greater than 15, so else divide B 15 by 5 and we get 3. Is that the last one?
No,
Oh, okay, then take a second to answer the next question.
it's a currency converter problem.
It's one of those practice code examples,
Oh, okay, well then I'll go
code
to
playground or something.
and you guys work on that and then raise your hand once you're done. All right, looks like a lot of you are done. So go ahead, move this over. So currency converter, they want us to take it and multiply it by the rate. So they give us the amount and the rate. We just create a function and multiply the amount by the rate and return it, and then print it to the console. Any questions on that?
Hey, Brandon, on that one, I got it right, but I put my return in the amount times rate. I put that in parentheses and it still passed, but I guess that was not necessary.
Can you show me what you're talking about?
Yeah. Right here.
No, that's fine. Because it's taking the amount, you created a function and passed in the amount and the rate and then returned it and printed it to the console. So yeah, that's totally fine. It's like, I think it's the same thing I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else still struggling with this one? Need help?
Yeah, I'm still having an issue.
Okay, can you do screen share? Okay, hit run.
Oh, okay.
Apparently you're not. All right.
I deleted a space, and for some reason the space.
Well, there you go. That
I
was
actually had that spaced.
oh,
That was weird. I don't know why that would work, but
well, there you go. Is
Mine's
anybody else
not
struggling?
working.
Okay, can you do yours isn't, Bill?
No,
Oh, okay. Can you do screen share? Okay. I can't even see yours.
it says it's sharing.
No, I can see it, but like your lines are covered up. Click in the thing so you can like edit it. Why is that not going away? Click the X to close that in the upper no, to the right. To the right. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I didn't see that. There we go.
Okay.
Looks like
Give me
using a
second.
closing curly bracket on line 6.
Oh, good catch. Oh yeah, because the other one was for the main. Good catch. Yeah, just put a curly bracket, hit run, and you should be good to go.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the assist, Kevin.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else still struggling? Okay. In that case, I'll assume you guys are good to go.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm still struggling.
Oh, okay. Can you do screen share?
Yep.
Oh, you spelled return wrong. On line 5, you spelled return wrong.
Oh, oops.
There you go. And hit run. And good to go. Okay.
I'm not getting mine to work either.
Okay, can you do screen share? So change that on the end of line 5, change that semicolon to an opening curly bracket. And then delete the closing one that's right after it. Put it auto added. There you go. Hit run.
Still need one more closing bracket
Oh yeah, for the
at
yeah,
the
that
very
other one,
end.
the main one. Okay, yeah, so add one on line 7. And there you go. Thanks again. Oh, wait.
Should be one after line 10 because the console.log needs to
Oh,
be within the function.
yeah. There. Wait, but you also get rid of that. Hold on. Get rid of the
Function convert, line 1 is spelled wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, why do you have Oh. Get rid of that. Because that was supposed to be main. Okay, close this. Hit close so it resets. Quit leave with leave. And then click it again. Click back or click close. Okay, so now add you need to create the function. Don't ever change where it says the function main. That's stuff they've added, so don't tweak that. Just go ahead and now on line 4 add your function. Oh, well, you got to put it in oh, sorry, never mind. You're good. Oh, no, that's got to be your curly brackets. Yeah, for functions, you name it, then you put your parentheses and you put whatever you're passing in, and then your curly brackets for whatever you want to do in that function. Just like you do for your CSS or like a lot of other things. So, okay, so now you can do your return amount times rate. You just put return there. Oh, it doesn't, well, that's fine. It doesn't need to be in parentheses, but you can, it'll just ignore it. Oh, no, times rate. What? No, times rate. Okay, now hit run. And you're good to go. Okay, is anybody else need help? Or are we all good? If you still need help, just speak up. Nope. Okay. And moving on. And Lewis, can you read this one?
JavaScript objects. JavaScript variables are containers for data values. Objects are variables too, but they can contain many values. Think of an object as a list of values that are written as name, value, pairs, with the names and the values separated by colons. These values are called properties. JavaScript objects are containers for named values.
So you're gonna have, so a lot of programming is gonna be similar. In Python, we call these dictionaries, and honestly, I think that's a better name for it because it's a name value pair. So if you call, so we put the value in here as John, right? So if we call, person, if we get from person, we call what's the name, it's going to return us John. If we're trying to get the age, it's going to return us 31, right? So yeah, so just name value pairs, this is what we're calling it, and this is the value. So in reference to an object, color, height, weight, and name are examples of properties. And Michael East, can you read this one?
Yeah.
Are you there, Michael?
Yeah, my computer, I had to refresh my screen for some reason, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Object properties. You can access object properties in two ways. This example demonstrates how to access the age of our person object. JavaScript's built-in length property is used to count the number of characters in a property string, and objects are one of the core concepts in JavaScript.
Okay. So when we put the dot, we call that the dot syntax, and the other way is to retrieve it this way. So here, we'll show you example. Both return the same value, right? So name person dot age is going to get the age, which the value is 31, and person and then age in brackets is going to do the same thing. It's just two different ways to skin a cat. But this one, later on you'll learn we can use it this way to add values to it, but I don't want to confuse you. We'll get to that. But anyway, so those are two ways of retrieving data from your objects or dictionaries, as we call them in Python.
Can you clarify what they mean here on the bottom one where it says JavaScript's built-in length property is used to count the number of characters? I'm not sure what the purpose of this is.
Yeah. So it'll tell you the length. So the name is JS, right? So the length of JS is 2. So it's a built-in function. So we're taking the object course and we're doing the dot syntax to get, dot name, but then we want to add dot length, which is a JavaScript function. So if we change this to JavaScript, now it's 10 characters because that's the length of the name. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to hold off on asking why, because I'm sure we'll get to it. I just don't see the use of it right now.
The length is real. So like with, if you're trying to iterate over something, then you'll need the length like to run it through a while loop, right? So that's really important for length. You will use it for while loops a lot. And then also, like if you put later, we'll learn about
would that be an example of like when you have to fill in some sort of
object.
text area or input and it says, you must enter at least 100 characters before you can submit or something along those lines? Is that?
Yeah, that could be one use of it. but like generally when I've used length, it's been because it's usually not for standard objects. You'll use it for what's called a map object, which we'll learn about later. But then like with a map object, because you put it in or a list where you've got for the list, and you got H E L L O, and you want to do the list dot length. What I didn't put my I did something wrong, but anyway, generally, oh, wait, there we go. So now if we wanted to iterate over all the different, like, let's say it wasn't just HELLO, right? Like each item on the list has different values or whatever that were like either generated by users or generated by functions building this list or whatnot, right? Or from the data from a database or something, right? And you need to iterate over the list, but you're not necessarily going to know how long the list is, because if it was like generated, right? So you need to know, in order to do your while loop, how long the list is. Does that make sense? That's more what we use. That's more what I've used the length for.
Yeah, totally. It does. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take a second to answer the next question. All right. So, what built-in property is used to count the number of characters in an object's property? Length. Okay. And Roger, can you read this one?
Object methods. An object method is a property that contains a function definition. Use the following syntax to access an object method. As you already know, document.write parentheses outputs data. The write parentheses function is actually a method of the document object. Methods are functions that are stored as object properties.
And I guess they're not showing an example of this, but I'm sure they will later. Basically, just if you've got your object and you add a function inside the object as one of the the things inside your object, then that's how you can retrieve it and have it execute the function. But you don't need to worry about that right now. We'll get to that. Work on this and then just raise your hand once you are done. Oh, and just a reminder, no, we're not going to be doing class tomorrow since it's Veterans Day. I know some of you are probably Marines and you're like, well, why are we doing class today? But I don't know. We just are. Oh, all right. Looks like a lot of you are done. So with this one, it wants us to calculate the length times width times height. So by using the dot syntax of this object, we do cuboid dot length times cuboid dot width times cuboid dot height, multiply them together to get our answer, and then just log the answer into the console. So does anybody have questions on this one, or you're struggling? It's not working for you?
Now, just reiterating, when they do the whole var cuboid, and then they have the squiggly, and then they have the length, width, height, it's basically saying var cuboid. Doing var cuboid is basically doing var length, var width, var height, just in a different format.
No. Because it's different because it's an object. So if you just did var length, var width, var height, yes, you could retrieve length and width and height that way by just doing just length, width, and height. But like objects are, I don't know, they're different than just variable. Well, okay, inside here, yes, this is kind of like a variable, yes, if that's what you're kind of saying. But then objects can do a lot more, like we were talking about, like you can add functions into objects, and you can just do a lot. And like a good example of like when you would use objects, or you probably use a map object, but map objects are similar to objects, is like in games. So we use objects a lot in games, or classes. We'll get to classes. later. But so let's say you have a paladin or something, right? And you've got his like armor strength, and then his magic ability, and blah 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 blah, right? Like all these different things. And you know, it's going to be like constantly getting changed for that particular character, and you'll have multiple instances of the character and whatnot. And I don't know, without you seeing it, if all this makes sense, or if I'm just rambling, but basically you're just changing different. That's why they call it an object, is because you're changing different parameters for that particular object. Does that kind of answer your question, or not really?
Yeah, that pretty much answers what I was getting at.
I
Lewis,
would say it's just the formula that's going to change with all the answers. So that those variables never change, but the numbers will. That's why I don't use the numbers.
yeah. Lewis, you were shaking your head no. Was it just because I went into the whole game analogy, or does objects itself make sense to you?
I am thoroughly confused now.
The game analogy is actually what helped click it in. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Lewis, for now, so don't worry, just forget I said the game analogy. But for now, it's kind of like what he said. These are like variables. But of the object, you can get, you know, the cuboid's length, or the cuboid's width, or its height. And in here is the value of it, or its current value. And you can change the value just like you would variables. But then later on, we'll learn objects, you can add more stuff. Does that make sense again, now that I said forget the game analogy?
I'm trying to understand why you can just pull the information with a simple console log.
Well, no, we're pulling the information right here. We're putting it into the variable to answer. And so what we're doing is we're doing the cuboid's length, which the value of the cuboid's length is 25, times the cuboid's width, and the value of the width is 50, and then times the cuboid's height, which is 200. Does that make sense now?
Yes, so it's just like a singular object. The
Yeah,
variables aren't going to change.
Well, no, they can change. Like we could do cuboid dot length equals 50, right? And that's going to change the length. So like, or you could do like plus equals 50. Oops. Like plus equals plus. There we go. Plus equals 50 to like add 50 to it and whatnot. So you can change it. Like these values are mutable, which I say that because you'll learn about mutable and immutable. Immutable means can't change. Mutable is it mutates. It can change. It's a variable. Does that make sense now?
I think it's going to help once I see it in action, like being actually applied.
Well, for now, just remember it's key value pairs. So we're doing the key is the length and the value is 25, right? So to retrieve what the value is, you just call the name, right? So cuboid.length, and we're gonna get that value. Does at least that part make sense?
Yeah,
okay.
That's clear.
Okay, cool. All right. Did
Hey,
anybody?
once again, mine isn't running.
Okay, can you do screen share? Oh, I'm doing screen share, so it's probably not letting you. There you go. Oh, you're doing plus. Actually, hold on. Okay, so First, you need to change that comma to a dot on line 8. It went between cuboid and length. There needs to be a dot length, and then the plus after it needs to be the multiply sign, the star. And then the same thing, change the comma to a dot. And then the other one's good. Just change that last one to a dot. And now run it.
There we go.
You're good to go. Is anybody else still not got it and need help? Okay. In that case, we'll move on. Oh, all right. To access the color property of the hair object using the dot syntax, hair dot color. Okay. We got a few more minutes, so we'll keep going. We just did, yeah, that was. Will, can you read this one?
I'm not sure which one you guys are on. Is this the quiz?
Oh,
or is
are
this...
you catching up still?
Yes.
Oh, okay, no worries. Samantha D, can you read this one?
The object constructor. In the previous lesson, we created an object using the object literal or initializer syntax. This allows you to create only a single object. Sometimes we need to set an object type that can be used to create a number of objects of a single type. The standard way to create an object type is to use an object constructor function. The above function is an object constructor which takes parameters and assigns them to the object properties. The this keyword refers to the current object. Note that this is not a variable, it is a keyword and its value cannot be changed.
Yeah, so you can't use something other than this when you're doing your constructor. You have to do this dot name, or not dot name, this dot whatever the variable is, and that's just a way of so. Okay, so if you know what all your key value pairs are, you can do it this way, right? You can do, name John, age, 42, right? But in more cases than not, you're going to be creating multiple instances of the object, right? And to do that, you'll create your first one this way, and then later on, when you pass in, person's name, age, color, and then we do another person's, Sarah, 23, blonde, or whatever, right? Because we've already done John, blah, 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 right? So we'll have multiple instances, and all you have to do is pass in the parameters. So take a second, answer the next one, and yeah, and we'll cover this a little bit more. You'll see. Okay, so to create a constructor, this dot title equals title, this dot director equals director. So that's the same as, well, we're not going to get into it, but anyway, that's the answer. Okay. Fabian, can you read this one?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Once you once you have an object constructor, you can use the new keyword to create new objects of the same type. P1 and P2 are P1 and P2 are now objects of the person type. Their properties are assigned to the corresponding values.
All right, so kind of like what I was talking about earlier, but here's your example of it, right? So you create your object with the your object, you name your object, and then give it the parameters, name, age, color, right? And then you have, this.name, blah, 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 right? And then now here you're reusing this multiple times, right? So first you do your new person, John 42 Green, and you're passing that into this object. Now you're creating another object by passing in Amy 21 Red. And so now if using the dot syntax, so this is Amy's age, or John's age, and then Amy's name, because each one's assigned differently, right? But here, let's do name so you can see. So P.1's name is John, because when we created this variable P1, we passed in these parameters to that object, right? And for P2, we passed in these parameters. Does that make sense, or is any of this unclear? Some of you look like you're confused, so if you have questions, please speak up. I'm happy to keep explaining.
But why would you have it show John's age and Amy's name? Wouldn't you want it to all match? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Well, in right one, we want P1's age. And then we want P2's name. So we got John's age, but why show Amy's name when they don't even match?
Right. It was just trying to show you an example. Well, that's why I changed them both to name here. So you could see P1's name equals John, P2's name equals Amy. And so, like, if we do age, and this is just, they're just doing this as an example, right? So now we're doing P1. Okay, what's the age of P1? The age of P1 is 42. What's the age of P2? Age is 21. Why? Because we passed this into it, right? Does that answer your question or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Take a second, answer the next question. Okay. What keyword is used for creating an instance of an object? New. So anytime you want to create a new object, you have to put new, or a new instance of it. So remember, write once and then use multiple times with multiple parameters that you're passing in. Lewis, can you read this one?
Creating objects. Consider the following example. Access the object's properties by using the dot syntax as you did before. Understanding the creation of the object is essential.
Okay, so same thing for this one. it's really, they're really not showing you anything different than what we've seen before. But yeah, so let's go on. Go ahead and start this, and then let me know once you are done. Oh, and do the next question too. Or just, oh yeah, raise your hand when you're done. All right, looks like a lot of you are done. So with this one, it's wanting us to take the flight number and whether they've landed or whatever, and then do string concatenation to add it together. So the way we can do this with a constructor is we pass in the flight number and the status, and then with flight one dot number passed into the flight and is plus the flight status, it'll return the correct answer. So any questions on this one? Is anybody stuck and need help? If so, unmute and let me know.
Just give me a second to grab it because I totally got that wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I did wrong here.
Okay. Well, let me give Mike a sec, and then I'll let you do screen share. Let me know once you're done, Mike.
Sure.
Oh, is this the one where there were errors? Yeah, it says fix the constructor. So
So that might be okay. I'm good.
okay,
I'm good.
sounds good.
Hey, Brandon, can you take a look at mine? I'm not sure. I'm probably
Yeah.
glaringly wrong. I just am getting lost.
Okay, can you do screen share?
Yeah.
Flight one is not defined. So it's probably some sort of. Oh, you put capital Fs for flight one, and it's supposed to be flight one is because you did on line see on line 6 the variable you named it was with the lowercase f, so you just need to change those to lowercase. It's fine in the function on 14. You can leave that the same because that's good to go. But no, leave that the same because that's so like the new flight right there where your cursor's blinking is referencing line 14, right? And that one is capitalized, right? But the variable you named at the beginning of line 6, the var flight 1, you did lowercase. So you just on line 10, you just need to change flight 1 to lowercase and on both instances. Okay, now run it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. So, oh wait.
I need help too. Unless
Oh,
you're
you
done.
need help? Okay. Can you do screen share?
Sure.
Number, flight starting.
Can you
See it?
click over? No, because your Visual Studio is overlapping it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. So what?
Maybe I'm missing a period.
Hit run again. Have you run it since? Why is on the phone?
He's missing the this dot number, this.
Oh, yeah. Good catch. So on line 16, put this dot. And then on line 17, do the same thing.
There's no new flight.
Okay, now hit run. And good to go. Good
Thank
catch,
you.
Lois.
Okay, mine's not running for some reason.
Okay, can you do screen share? Oh, you put a semicolon after on line 6 after flight 1. It needs to be equals.
Oh,
Okay, now hit run. All right, hold on. Oh, flight number is spelled differently than they do. So see how they have it camel case where number is capitalized and flight number? It's going
right.
to be the exact same. Okay, now hit run. And good to go. Okay, anybody else need help with that one? No? All right, well then just go ahead and work on your CSS and or play around with JavaScript, or if you've got like, if you've already started your login page or like a contact page on your resume website, you could use JavaScript in order to, well, hold on, you haven't learned about document dot, okay, never mind, you probably still can't yet. Eventually you'll be able to use JavaScript to do like form validations and stuff, but probably for now there's not much you can do with JavaScript. So if you're done with CSS and everything's good to go on your resume, it's the way you like it, then if you want to take off early and have a good Veterans Day. All right, well, I'm gonna stop recording and I'll be right back.